Everyone seems to be jumping the gun on this in a sense, because the more we look into this, the more it's becoming blatantly obvious that none of this is real.
There's no other way to put it. This was an unsettling day across this country as we learned of several bombs sent to multiple locations. It all began to unfold this morning, authorities calling the bombs acts of terror.
10 devices have now been intercepted. None detonated and no one was hurt. The suspicious packages found today were sent to actor Robert De Niro in New York and former Vice President Joe Biden in Delaware.
Within the last hour, law enforcement officials told Fox News that the working theory of investigators is that the devices were sent by a single individual or a single group. This is based on forensics as well as the fact that we're talking about multiple devices over a 72-hour period.
This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth with more breaking news today, as reports are now confirming that the latest targets of the midterm mail bomber are now former Vice President Joe Biden and Hollywood film actor Robert De Niro. So in today's video, we're going to take a closer look at the details surrounding these latest events, and more specifically, we're going to look very closely at the bombs themselves, which, as Partisan Girl on Twitter points out, this is literally a false flag, and we're going to explain why. But just before we do, I'd ask that you please head over to patreon.com/pressfortruth to support my work. This is how I'm able to continue posting these videos. So if you like the work that I do, please consider becoming a patron to support my work at patreon.com/pressfortruth. Alright guys, here's the latest. Suspicious packages are known as of Thursday morning to have been sent to Barack Obama, Joe Biden got 2 of them, Hillary Clinton, Eric Holder, John Brennan/CNN, Maxine Waters has 2 as well, George Soros, and the latest Robert De Niro. And we have this from AP News. Packages to Biden, De Niro seized similar to earlier bombs. The mail bomb scare widened Thursday as law enforcement officials seized 3 more suspicious packages, 2 addressed to former Vice President Joe Biden and 1 to actor Robert De Niro, and said they were similar to crude pipe bombs sent to former President Barack Obama, Hillary Clinton, and CNN. None of the devices exploded, and no one was injured. But the packages sent to prominent Democrats critical of President Donald Trump heightened nationwide tensions and fears 2 weeks before major congressional midterm elections. And wouldn't you know it, just like that, #MegaBomber began trending on Twitter, even though there is still no mention of who a suspect is, and despite the fact that these bombs didn't even go off. So there isn't even a bomber, per se. But that didn't stop people like Alexander Soros, the son of the leftist billionaire activist George Soros, from writing an op-ed piece published by the New York Times titled, "Alexander Soros, the Hate That Is Consuming Us. Bombs sent to my father, George Soros, and to former President Obama and Hillary Clinton are a result of our politics of demonizing opponents." I wonder just what or who do you think he might be talking about? He says, "My family is no stranger to the hostilities of those who reject our philosophy, our politics, and our very identity. My father grew up in the shadow of the Nazi regime in Hungary." He then goes on to say, "My father acknowledges that his philanthropic work, while nonpartisan, is political in a broad sense. It seeks to support those who promote societies where everyone has a voice. There is a long list of people who find that proposition unacceptable, and my father has faced plenty of attacks along the way, many dripping with the potion of anti-Semitism." To which he then says, "But with Donald Trump's presidential campaign, things got worse. White supremacists and anti-Semites like David Duke endorsed his campaign. Mr. Trump's final TV ad famously featured my father, Janet Yellen, chairwoman of the Federal Reserve, and Lloyd Blankfein, chairman of Goldman Sachs, all of them Jewish, amid dog whistle language about special interests and global special interests." And then he concluded this op-ed rant by stating, "We must find our way to a new political discourse that shuns the demonization of all political opponents. A first step would be to cast our ballots to reject those politicians cynically responsible for undermining the institutions of our democracy. and we must do it now before it is too late. To which I tweeted a response, "No, Alexander Soros, you are in fact pushing hate by insinuating this mega bomber nonsense, #jumping the gun." And in fact, everyone seems to be jumping the gun on this in a sense, because the more we look into this, the more it's becoming blatantly obvious that none of this is real. These are the packages that were delivered to Brennan, De Niro, and Biden. And you'll notice that none of these stamps have been voided or have gone through the Postal Service system. And then there's questions about the actual bombs themselves that have been raised following the release of these photos from CNN. And by the way, who the heck at CNN would take the time, which could be lethal, to take a photo of a live bomb? And perhaps even more curious, why would there be a timer meant to trigger the bomb with the clock's alarm if this is being used for a mail bomb? This makes absolutely no sense. Mail bombs only work if the bomb explodes when you open the package. A timer-based detonation makes no sense whatsoever, because obviously the bomber would have to plan for it to go off at the exact time that the intended target would open the package, which again makes no sense at all. And what about this sticker that appears to look like an ISIS flag? Well, as we pointed out in the beginning of this video, the flag attached to the bomb wasn't an ISIS flag. It was another flag made to look like an ISIS flag. It's literally a false flag. #megabomber. And here it is, an image of a silhouette of 3 scantily clad women with the words "Get her done." The Get Her Done flag was originally created in 2014 by the right-wing parody site World News Bureau for an article titled "ISIS Vows Retribution for Counterfeit Flags." It has since been shared as a meme on right-wing websites and forums. Does anyone else see a problem developing here? A scapegoat is being developed, and as I've been saying all along, this alleged bombing threat is really all about silencing critics, demonizing so-called right-wing conspiracy theorists, and eventually, all-out censorship. Remember when journalists were sent anthrax in the mail along with an Islamic terrorism message, and then it turned out to be a false flag by an American working at a US government bioweapons lab? But all conspiracy theories are crazy, right? #bomb threat, #bombs. The very fact that these bombs were fake proves that it was never intended that anyone get hurt. But rather, this was all about framing the political enemies of the current puppet string pullers in their effort to maintain control. And let me ask you this. How long do you think it's going to take for the authorities to announce who the culprit is, or even who a suspect is? Days? Weeks? Maybe months? My guess is we will most likely never get to the bottom of who the real guilty party is, but at this point it doesn't even matter. The damage has already been done in the minds of the masses. The country is divided in the lead up to the midterm elections, and order out of chaos is their modus operandi. So I'm calling this for what it is, folks. This has false flag written all over it. And it's about time people start paying close attention, because the pot is getting hotter here and we need to jump out of the water before it's too late. And as you may know, I'm currently being heavily censored by Facebook and by Google, so please click the thumbs up button right now and share this video. It really does help with YouTube's algorithms that have been designed to keep this information away from the masses. So that's all for today. I want to thank all my PFT members and my PFT patrons for all your continued support. You guys rock, and I love you for it. And to everyone else, thank you for tuning in. Keep fighting the good fight, and stay tuned. We've got more video reports coming soon. This is Dan Dix reporting for Press for Truth. We all want truth. The truth will set you free.